Okay, we have a lot of questions coming at us here, so we're going to have to limit it to 3, guys. I got a lot of information to go through, so let's just limit it to 3. I'll just take the 1, 1, and 2. Ladies first. Go ahead. Hey, Kevin, come this way a little bit.
Oh, sure, yeah. That's a great question. The initial refurb of $60,000, which you saw there, ran over by about $20,000. So I went on credit cards for that, but that wasn't a problem. And then after the hurricane hit, there's obviously a lot of damage, but as Terry said, the insurance companies just pay out, and they pay you holding costs and everything else, and I'll probably come out ahead of the game. So.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, yeah, guys, don't worry about it's what we have insurance. It's what we have insurance for. We're going to just limit it to 3 questions. So write your questions down. We can add. I got one more right here. Go ahead.
Kevin, actually, kind of 2 parts to the question.
Okay, well, I got to repeat. I got to repeat each part. So say it to me, and then I'll repeat it to Kevin.
First of all, I hear you're mentioning vouchers. I mean, Section 8.
Yeah, that's correct, Larry.
Okay, he's saying you mentioned vouchers. You have to be on the mic because it's not going to pick up. He said Section 8. Was it Section 8? Kevin said correct. Okay.
The second part of the question is, I know you live up in Washington, so how are you managing the property down there?
Great question. He said, I know you're living up in Washington because we announced that he's living in Seattle and the property's in Galveston Island, Texas. How are you managing the property from afar?
Yeah, thanks, Larry. Actually, the same real estate agent that picked it up, who is in residential, really wants to be in commercial. And although she doesn't have a lot of experience, she is unbelievably aggressive. I call her a bulldog, but when she's not around, but she's really not a bulldog. And she helps me drive and project manage just about everything, and she's excited to do more business. So.
And you're teaching her.
Yes,
and he's
vice
teaching
versa.
her. Okay, last question, guys. Go ahead.
No, the as-is value was not $1 million. The structure and functional condition was probably worth about $800,000. So the structure was worth more than its projected performance value. 300. It was probably 450 was its actual value at the time before rehabilitation. But still, 360 worked down to 315 was a great deal.
That's still good numbers, guys, and the projection at the end of the day is pushing off cash flow. So the cash flow that'll be coming through is about how much?
Well, initially it was about 2,100. It looks like it's going to be between 35 and 4,000.
All right, guys, we're done with questions. Let's give Kevin a round of applause. Thanks, Kevin. Okay, perfect. Thanks. All right. So, guys, that's just an example, and again. That's just Kevin, and he went out there and made it happen. Now Kevin did this deal on his own, okay? And I want to share with you guys how important that is, that he's out there doing the deals on his own, because each and every one of you, and those of you listening to these CDs and watching these DVDs, anybody can get out there and do just what Kevin did, can't you? Yes. Can you guys do one deal? Yes. You can do one deal, and after you nail one, you're going to get out there and do another. So if you got any more questions on that, please just go ahead and write them down. We got to continue to move forward here. So here's another example. I want to give you guys, now that you've had your concept to reality by Kevin being here, sharing it with you personally, I'm going to give you guys an additional example. Here's another example. All right, here's another one. 10 units, 4 units rent for $800 a month. All right, 4 units rent for $800, and the other 4 units are renting for $900 a month, and the last 2 are renting for $1,200. Okay. All of the units are occupied with no vacancies, okay? And everyone pays each and every month on time, all right? Is this a fantasy deal or what? Each month you have your mortgage to pay on a 10-unit apartment complex at $2,800. You just paid your year-end taxes at $21,500, and your insurance bill was just paid at $4,300. Your maintenance and repairs were $5,500, $950 for water, and another $220 for miscellaneous. So let's look at it together. Here's the cash in. We're talking about cash in, cash out, and then total cash inflows and cash outflows, which I'm going to digest with you. So under this scenario, and it's in your material, 4 units, again, just to recap, $800 a month at $3,200. That's 4 units, $800 a month, $3,200. 4 units at $900 a month comes out to $3,600. 4 units at $1,200 a month comes out to $4,800. Your total rents are $12,600 times 12 months is $151,1200. Remember, we do this annually. Your total cash outflows are $151,200 at your expense. Your cash, that's the cash in. Here's your cash out. Mortgage, $2,800 times 12 months, $33,600. Real estate taxes, $21,500. Property insurance, $4,300. Maintenance and repairs, $5,500. Water, $950. Miscellaneous, $220. What we just went over, that totals $66,070. In this scenario, your cash flow equals $85,130. That would be your cash flow. It's a very simple formula, all right? Under this scenario, you've taken in way more than you've spent. So you have positive cash flow, and that's what we're talking about, positive cash flow, all right? It's totally irrelevant when calculating cash flows regardless, okay? What source is factored in for inflows and outflows? It's totally irrelevant. It doesn't matter what the numbers are. You got inflows and you got outflows. So here's your inflows. Here we go. Take notes. Inflows can come from a combination of several sources, including but not limited to the following. Inflows: rent, loan proceeds, and profit centers. Now, I'm going to touch on profit centers in absolute detail. Just these are a few little bullet points for you guys. And when we get into profit centers, I'm going to give you guys a whole list. Would you guys like that? Okay, great. So here, this is just a few: vending machines, washer, dryer, etc. Now, Kevin, on your particular deal, I know that you said for if you want a washer, dryer, it's this, it's that. What I would have done is I would have said, hey, look, you want washer and dryer? Not a problem. I'll go ahead and put it in the unit for you. And then what I would do is I'd go down to the old scratch and dent. You know, the scratch and dent, they're the ones that the guys that fell off the truck because the guy kicked it off the truck. It's got a couple scratches on the back of it. So what? Put that thing in there, right? Let them rent new appliances, and you can get the appliances at a huge discount from scratch and dent. Make that note, guys. I'm telling you, it's not you that's going to be going down to scratch and dent, right, renting a U-Haul to put them in there to take them in and install them. This is you giving direction to your project manager or to the person on the ground to do so. But bringing in the washer and dryer and supplying that stuff for them that's new, they will rent it, and you're going to get top rents because everybody likes a washer and dryer. Nobody likes to go sit down at the laundromat, okay? Believe me, a long time ago I got that T-shirt too. You don't want to have to sit down there at the laundromat and waste your time all day long doing laundry, okay? Now, outflows. Operating expenses. Those are outflows. Debt of any kind associated with the property. Now, we're going to define that in a moment. Rehab and construction of units. Those are outflows. Rehab and construction. That's not adding. Additional expenses for management, supplies, etc. Now, we can sit here and we can penny pinch on the management and say, well, how much did you pay for that toner cartridge? $80 for a dang toner cartridge, you know, and sit there and grind them down. The thing about it is, guys, every little penny on those expenses that you cut down add up to a whole bunch of money at the end of the day. So you do just want to go ahead and have somebody scrutinize those numbers. Any outflow will reduce your overall cash flow. Isn't that sweet? Write that down. Any outflow will reduce your overall cash flow. All right? So we're going to talk here about appreciation. And when I mention appreciation, guys, of course, the most important thing is cash flow. This is the cash flow system. This is where it's at. But the second most important thing is appreciation, because the property will always appreciate. Most conventional wisdom players buy just on that one same fact of appreciation. And the cash flow, they're not even breaking the cash flow barrier. They're just breaking even. Okay? Although there's another reason to get excited, and that's called the appreciation factor. Not all properties will produce positive cash flow right out of the gate. Good old conventional wisdom investors understand that, so they look at the big picture on one thing. So write this down. What the property will be worth in the long run. Remember, commercial stable, it's always going up. They want to know what it's going to be worth in the long run, because people that hold income-producing properties, they understand that in the long run, that thing's going to be worth a boatload of money. All right? I know Kevin's 10 unit. I doubt if you ever sell it. Because once that thing is where it's at and it's pulling in and there's that demand and it's pulling in that, you know, $1,350 per unit times 10, and that money's there, the thing's worth $1.3. Those rents aren't always going to be at $1,300 a month. I can tell you that right now. Especially if Ike's big brother comes in next year. Okay? Then what happens is there's even more of a demand because there's less housing because of the disaster. But that's not the only reason that drives it. It's just time. Time drives everything. I mean, look at what property was worth 20 years ago. And ask yourself, kick yourself, and then ask yourself, should have bought commercial property then. So you're lucky you're here, all right? Note, the growth of the property in value over time is the next best thing to cash flowing property because it's going to go up. It will. I remember speaking to my folks on a place that we lived in not too far from here when I was young. And I said, why didn't you guys buy that house? I said, well, because we rented. I said, you telling me something I don't know? I know you rented. Why didn't you buy it? They said, well, we didn't. We just rented. We should have bought it, but we didn't. What a shoulda, coulda. I said, I get that. Don't live in the past, but think about it. If you would have bought that property, what was it worth at the time? $80,000? $70,000? $60,000? What's it worth now? $1.5 million? $2 million? Think about it, guys. The value of property will always go up. And this is residential. Think about the commercial stuff. What property's going for across the nation right now? I mean, the value of money, it's crazy that these guys are sitting up here talking about money. They want to throw money at everybody. Everybody ran to the back of the room to get their number. All right? So do something with it. Okay? Or come to me and I'll ride you like a rented mule. We'll do it together. I'm here for you guys. You know that. Appreciation formula, here it is. I can't make it any simpler than this. Future resale price less the original purchase price equals appreciation. Future resale price less the original purchase price equals appreciation. What makes the revenue increase? Now here we go. All right? What makes the revenue increase, folks? Number one, changing market conditions. Now, we know residential cyclical, and it goes down and it goes back up. All right? One of the things that we want to recognize is that when the changing markets happen, like I said earlier, neighborhoods just don't start off bad. They go down and then they transition back up. You want to be on the upswing, all right? A property we were working on and we almost passed on it because there wasn't a traffic count. You guys ever seen the black rubber strip that goes across the street? Hello, you guys? You know what that is? That's the car count, traffic count. And they have a little box on the side of the sidewalk. And the city goes in there and they go ahead and take traffic count. We almost walked because the traffic count was too low. But the foot traffic was off the charts. People were just not driving in that particular area, but what they were doing was they were walking to the stores. Is that powerful to know that? Of course it is, guys. Of course it is. Changing market conditions are huge. Now, general inflation, that's building materials, etc. That's what makes the revenue increase because building materials will always go up. They always have. Building per square foot will always be at a standard average and still going up. Making improvements, that'll also make the revenue increase. Just getting in there and just doing a few tweaks, you know, just like the rehab fixer-uppers on the residential, no different. Improve the management. Get in there and see if that management company is really doing what they say they're doing. Really get in there and make it happen, all right? Make sure that they're doing what they say they're going to do at their fullest potential. Reduce vacancy loss. Well, we've been talking about that all day today, about how to reduce vacancy loss. Minimize wasteful expenses. Any wasteful expenses, all right? Why is the electric bill so darn high? Well, is the AC unit burned out? Is what's going on? Do you need a new electrical panel? The lights twickering? What's your voltage? What's your usage? You can go ahead and get these wasteful expenses down. Is there money exchanging hands somewhere where it's not supposed to be through the management, right? You guys got to look at all that. That's the appreciation. That's how the revenue will increase. Now, the benefits. You may not get all the benefits right away until you sell when it comes to appreciation. Example, in hot markets, properties appreciate fast. Let me give you a quick example. Can't make this any easier, guys. Purchase January 1st, 2009, okay? Purchase price, $1 million. Sell on June 1st, 2009. 6 months later, up the income by raising rents and filling vacancies. Sell price, $1.9 million. What's the amount of appreciation? Anybody know? $900,000, guys. The amount of appreciation is the difference between your sale price and the original price you paid. Again, future resale price less the original price equals appreciation. Now, I could sit here and fudge these numbers and make them big and long and crazy and make you think and scratch your head, but why? I want to make it simple, guys, so when we get out of here and hit those double doors, we're out there and we're getting deals done. By the way, who's got deals ready to get analyzed? Raise your hands. All right, I only ask you to do one thing is get them back to Kevin. Get them back to Kevin. Have Kevin just look over them just one time for me. Just take a minute. Sit down. Okay? It's your deal. Don't sweat it. It's your deal. Always be your deal. Have Kevin just review it real quick because I'll tell you, over the next couple of days, I'm going to want to start calling on deals. So I want you to be able to bring some quality leads for the class. Okay? Your decision whether you want to come up or not. The hot seat's sitting over there. Okay. So here, we're going to go ahead and cover loan amortization. Our lender folks that came through, they talked about it briefly, but I'm going to go ahead and define it. How would you like somebody else to pay all your bills? Who here would like that? All right, sure, absolutely. Well, think about it. If you paid all cash for a property, that wouldn't be the best way to leverage your money, would it? No, we're not all cash buyers. No, we don't buy retail. We buy wholesale. Exactly, guys. Let me give you an example. The purchase price was $1 million all cash. You could buy it all cash. Or conventional wisdom says 30% down payment. 30% down payment equals $300,000 down payment plus a $700,000 loan equals $1 million. That's one way to do it. Again, the purchase price is $1 million. You could pay all cash or use conventional wisdom and put down 30% down payment. Get a $700,000 loan, which equals your $1 million. Or you could bring in a money partner from OPM. What does OPM money stand for? Other people's money, OPM. Bring in a money partner plus a $700,000 loan from a credit partner. That equals $1 million. Now me, I take number 3 all day long. Because I know, again, guys, a piece of the pie in commercial, we're talking 6-7 figures. And there's money partners and there's credit partners. You put the people together, you marry it together, and it's a done deal. It's just got to make sense on the deal. A piece of the pie in commercial is huge. Of course, a loan requires payments. Monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, and annually. That's how it's broken down. Now, are we going to go ahead and jump right into it and ask them what they would want for monthly payments? Hello, guys? No, of course not, right? No, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get in there and start at the bottom. We're going to want to go ahead and start annually. Let them know that, hey, look, what we want to do is we want to get in there and make annual payments. We don't want to get in there and make monthly payments, and we don't want to front load our project. We want to get in there and just pay once a year. If they say no or it's negotiable, and I don't care if you're doing seller finance, negotiating the financing with the seller, and you're going to look to do payments to the seller after a period of time, start annually, then go to semi-annually, which is twice a year. Then if that doesn't jive, then go for quarterly, which is every quarter, which is 3-month intervals. Then worst off is monthly. It's the most common with conventional wisdom. Most people just start right out of the gate and they say, okay, monthly payments. No way. No way. Why would you want to do that? You're doing debt service, right? You're doing debt service. But just think, if your projection is to up the rents and get in, get out, get rich within 12 months, and you're making annual payments, and you're moving on the thing to fill the vacancies and do the light rehab like Kevin, and you could get those rents up, and then you get them up in 10 months. You get them up in 10 months, and then you have to make one payment. A lot of times you can just bring in a partner, give them a piece of the equity, and just pay off whatever that note was going to be, whatever that interest note was going to be. You can just pay that off. And the thing about it is, guys, if you have, this is food for thought, if you have, I can cover this more in detail, if you have a note scheduled with seller financing for 36 months, okay, and you're in a position where you get the rents, you get the vacancies up, whatever, even if there was some occupants in there and you raise the rents, you make it all happen in 9 or 10 or even 12 months. Are you going to go in there and say to them, hey, I'm up to speed, I'm going to do a cash out refi, I'm going to go get another kind of money with a lower interest and just pay you out? Or are you going to go in there and try to get that note discounted? You get in there and you tell them, look, you're holding right now a 36-month note. How would you like to be paid out in 12? All I'm asking for is a little help. When you ask for help, people will give you help. Especially if you've already created the relationship and got the 36-month seller financing in place in the first time round. You go back and you say, look, I need a little bit of discount. What about if we go ahead, I owe you 1.5 on the thing. What about you take 1.1 and I'll go ahead and pay you out next month? Well, let me think about that. Wait another 3 years? Or take a $400,000 hit since I own the thing free and clear and I was dinging you with interest anyway. Sure, I'll do that. You just saved yourself close to $500,000 by flapping your lips. You guys understand that? People are too fixated. Hold on one second. People are too fixated on what is, not what could be. And that doesn't just go for buildings. That also goes for structuring of financing. We're going to talk about that later. You got a comment on that?
Money now is worth more than money later.
Money now is worth more than money later, always. It always has been, it always will be. Those are very profound words. And it always has been, and it always will be. Thank you for that. Okay. Loan amortization. Mortgage is a cash outflow, folks. It's a cash outflow. It's paid with the cash that comes in from the property. That's the way it works. So most income properties, rental revenue makes up usually all of the cash inflow. So it's your tenants who pay your mortgage. It's your tenants who pay your mortgage. All the bills are paid once you get the thing operational. That's the simplicity behind commercial real estate and why this is such a wealth explosion. Why is Kevin sitting back there on a $1.3 million property? He's going to go get another deal. All right? You need to go get a deal. Go get your first deal. If it's your first deal, go get your first deal. I'll come and we'll do it together. That's what we're here for. All right? Note, each mortgage payment made includes both interest and principal, unless, of course, you structure other terms like no payment, no interest. Guys, we are family. We are family. You're in the family. We're family. I want you to be straight up with me. I'm not going to pick on you. I just want you to be straight up. Who here thinks that you might have trouble getting no payment, no interest? Conveying the message of no payment, no interest. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you. You too as well. Thank you. And a few other people. Okay. Guys, this is not a new concept. I'm going to go ahead and debunk this myth once and for all. Some of you have heard this before. I'm going to say it again, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you no payment, no interest. Commercial property is a business decision. Residential people, they live in their homes. They have their bed in their bedroom. They have their living room that has, their TV where they watch the game or whatever, right? Their dining room where they eat. You guys got to understand that it's emotions that go through and through in these people's heads, the psychology behind it. Commercial property is a business decision. Again, you have an asset and you have a liability. Asset, income producing. Liability, not income producing. You're doing debt service. Get rid of the stupid thing, right? Who here wants to take over a liability that's not cash flowing to sit there and do debt service? No. Not unless you know what we know. Once you know what we know and the property fits the criteria, we can get in there, we can turn it around and capitalize on that liability, turn it back into an, all right?